People treat homeless people like everybody that's on the street. There's people like me as a family that's homeless.
I think the focus is rightly so on rough sleepers, you know, because to be outside, especially in this type of weather, takes it out of you.
You're trying to make sure you don't upset the person that you're living with, because if you do, you know that you're on the streets, you know.
It's always playing on my mind, like, are we going to have a house, or is this going to be our life forever?
You don't feel like you have somewhere that you belong, you don't have a bed, you don't have a place to put all your belongings, like you don't have that security.
Bring me a higher love.
Tonight at 6, the thousands who sleep rough on our streets. It's been called a national scandal.
Jeremy Corbyn has promised to double the number of homes that Labour would make available to rough sleepers.
None of us want to see anybody rough sleeping on our streets. That's why the government is taking action.
With rough sleeping making national headlines, is the true extent of homelessness really being told? An estimated 62% of homeless people in the UK are hidden in temporary accommodation or sofa surfing. Lorraine is an example of the hidden homeless, temporarily sheltering in a house with her children and likely to be moved on in weeks.
My current landlord, which was private, served me Section 21 because he was selling the property. So obviously I got nowhere else to go, and that's why I had to go to Housing Aid and come up as homeless. My kids are sleeping on mattresses. I've been sleeping on the sofa for 3.5 months now. Not knowing basically when you're going to get a permanent home, and living out of cardboard boxes. Your house is a mess all the time because you don't know where nothing is. Never thought me and my family would be in this situation. When you've got 3 children, your priority is to try and keep a permanent, safe roof over their head. And I'm not in that situation at the moment. We live day to day, basically, not knowing what's going to happen. It's heartbreaking. I sit and cry most nights because, same as I say, to see my children going through what they're going through, especially my youngest son, he's so ashamed.
The family became homeless halfway through Lorraine's daughter's A-levels.
It's always playing on my mind, like, are we going to have a house, or is this going to be our life forever? I don't feel like a normal teenager. I can't go out, or they can't come over and like have a sleepover or like have a movie night. It's really different. I feel more lower down to them, and I feel like they're more important because I'm just here in temporary accommodation. And yeah, I hate seeing my mum go through it because, you know, she tries to act so strong, but she has off days and you just have to be there for her. But she's been amazing for all of this. If it wasn't for her, we'll be in a hostel somewhere. So because she's fighted for us as a family, we're here and in a bit better situation than we would have been.
A local housing campaign group heard about Lorraine's story.
They've been absolutely brilliant, the Housing Justice Forum. They fought every step of the way, and I wouldn't be in this house now if it wasn't for them. They fought to keep me in Nottingham, they fought to get this house, and now all I want is a safe, secure home.
Hidden homeless people like Lorraine's family often don't receive help as authorities don't know they're out there.
There is an element of the unknown about sofa surfing. Hidden homelessness is called hidden homelessness for a reason, because we don't really know who is out there. We're definitely aware of a trend of seeing more people, but there are plenty of people out there who perhaps are not getting the help that they need.
Despite no accurate data, it is estimated that 1/5 of young people in the UK have sofa surfed, including Scarlett. Now reunited with her family, she was homeless for 3 months when she was 18.
I don't think anyone would look and think, yeah, she was homeless at one point. I stayed on people's sofas. I stayed with some of my mum's friends, my friends. Some nights I could stay at my grandparents', but again, like, I didn't want to burden them either, so it was a lot of kind of popping about where I could. You have to be good at just being able to sleep anywhere because you're in a different bed every single night. It's difficult when it comes to trying to wash your clothes. You never know when you can wash your clothes next. I managed to actually spend a lot of time at parties and spending nights at house parties, which actually was really helpful, because I think at a weekend, if I didn't know where I was going to stay that weekend, someone's like, oh, I'm having a house party, like, brilliant, I can stay there and that's somewhere for me to stay.
Like most young homeless people, Scarlett sofa surfed alone.
Your family and your home is somewhere that you should, you always feel you can rely on as a kid, and it's always somewhere that you feel so safe. So it's really hard when that is no longer there for you and you have to pack up a bag, and it is disorientating and it's so sad because you don't feel like you have somewhere that you belong. You don't have a bed, you don't have a place to put all your belongings, you don't have that security. And having a bad mental health kind of status, it really didn't help. I really didn't feel like I had a home. I didn't feel like I had anywhere that I could go and rely on.
46% of homeless people have a diagnosed mental health condition.
Unlike rough sleeping, if we're sofa surfing, we're kind of reliant on other people more, for finding somewhere safe to be and knowing when we can be there. So in some ways, sofa surfing is slightly more challenging in terms of mental health than rough sleeping is.
The most prevalent group to be homeless are middle-aged men. Despite this, they are the least likely to receive help.
Men of around my age, single, no family commitments, no children, they're very, very low down on the list to qualify for support. Bluntly, for quite a few people, there's not really a lot of help out there for them, even when we get involved.
44-year-old Gary knows only too well the struggles of getting help.
As a single bloke, trying to get on the Council and Housing Association list, it's difficult because no matter how high up you are, there's always people coming on each week who are more priority above you. So, a single woman, a woman with kids, which you understand completely, but it doesn't help your situation,
Nevertheless, he views sofa surfing as a vital lifeline to stay off the streets.
Sofa surfing, it's a godsend, really, because it's mates putting you up, just it might be for a night, it might be for a couple of nights, it could be for some people I know, they're on a mate's couch for years almost. You're trying to make sure you don't upset the person that you're living with, because if you do, you know that you're on the streets, and say like in my situation, I get a couple of nights a week where I'm sofa surfing and then the rest in a tent and stuff.
56-year-old Phil also splits his time between sleeping rough and sofa surfing.
You always feel as if you're putting your friends or whoever's putting you up, you always feel as if you're imposing on them. Even though they say that you're not, but it's about personal feelings. But when you share a place with anyone, even if it's only for a few days, it can lead to tension and stress. And I don't like being stressed. I say sofa surfing, it does have its disadvantages with how you feel about it, but it's better than being out here waking up with snow on top of you or even the frost on your sleeping bag or blanket.
Homelessness can have serious health consequences, with the average age of death being 47. 2 months after filming, Gary and Phil's friend, who also sofa surfed, died. Dave Hale was only 43.
Dave was incredibly intelligent. I'm told that he was teaching other students A-level maths at the age of 16. Also that as a child he was a camping swimmer. He used to travel around the country competing.
Sofa surfing, will not affect people's physical health, but it will certainly affect their mental health. And in some cases, people who are sofa surfing today are the people who are going to end up rough sleeping tomorrow.
Many hidden homeless feel they are invisible from help.
The street outreach team, they need to see you so many days to be able to get you, say, put in a hostel if it's cold. If you turn around and say that as well that you're being put up by people, that then takes points off you as well.
I would have known what my options were, that anyone would help me and what they would do.
They don't want unemployed or people sleeping rough in the centre of their fair city, They want to hide us away.
They call us hidden homeless, yeah. It's like the council tries to bury it under the carpet.
Bring me a higher love. Bring me a